We are past the red line in America. I'm Ari Melber from MSNBC, anchor, chief legal correspondent. I'm an attorney, and I'm doing an extra breakdown here, and I'll just, let's see, give you guys this angle on YouTube Live, because I want to talk to you about the week that we've had, and while we do a lot of different reporting and news and interviews, specifically about how we are past the red line. They talk about a slowly boiling frog and those kind of analogies. The frog is boiled. The frog is dead. The red line is passed. And if you're watching this randomly and saying, okay, what's the perspective on this? The perspective is the Constitution. Democracy requires free speech, which has been clearly under attack by the federal government in unconstitutional ways. And it requires that people can exercise their rights, legal, civic, political, serving in government, running for office, being a citizen who speaks out without fearing government retribution that can harass you, bankrupt you, destroy your career, life, and family through prosecution. That's before we even find out if you get convicted. And that's why, remember, baseline, there are huge safeguards to prosecuting someone, just as there are huge safeguards to when the government can affect speech. And at the extreme levels, of course, the government can deal with fraudulent speech that's designed to deceive people and basically steal their money through fraud. That's not protected words, or fire in a crowded theater. You probably heard that example. And of course, the government has to be able to enforce the law and keep people safe and prosecute people, and there are standards for that. But the requirements are because throughout history, whether it was the king locking people up, why we have habeas corpus protections, or other countries that do this, Putin, of course, has found everyone who ever criticizes Putin in a serious way or threatens his power, turns out they're a criminal in that country. We have these safeguards, and they are old, and they're in the Constitution. And right now, in a very clear way, Donald Trump is trying to systematically destroy them and see if he can get away with it. And that's the thing that I'm talking here on the end of a week where we saw Jimmy Kimmel come back on the air. We saw affiliates that under alleged government pressure had also tried to say they wouldn't carry him. By the end of the week, Friday night, said they will. We have Trump backing down on that, backing away from what he did and what he demanded. And that story overlaps with Thursday night, an indictment of James Comey that is completely baseless and without precedent. And again, I'll walk you through that briefly. You don't see a history of precedents or cases of people being prosecuted for lying to Congress. One Quinnipiac study found it's about once a decade. You certainly don't see it alone. Prosecutors will sometimes bring a bunch of charges together when they have a case against someone. They try to build the case. Michael Cohen was one of the rare charges of lying to Congress, along with several other charges, but you don't see it brought alone. And in the case of James Comey, whether you like him or not, a lot of Democrats didn't like him for some stuff. A lot of Republicans now don't like him because Trump has been on a vendetta. A lot of other people have their views of him, but this isn't about what you think of him. In the case of James Comey, he was reviewed. The very thing that they're now looking at, his congressional testimony, which again is rarely charged, was reviewed by the DOJ Inspector General, an independent process with serious interviews, investigation, months-long process. Michael Horowitz did that. Then it was reviewed by a special prosecutor appointed by Trump, John Durham. And they didn't find a case here. They brought some other cases, but nothing against Comey. And then it was reviewed internally, according to the reporting we have, by another Trump-appointed U.S. attorney and other people inside the Trump second term, DOJ, and they didn't find a case. And then those people, the top person replaced, they rushed this out. This is the case. And so we're in a point in America where these stories collide. Trump also has threatened or has opened probes into a sitting Democratic member of Congress, mayor in New Jersey, where they then dropped the case, his own former aide, John Bolton, the attorney general and governor of New Jersey, the attorney general of the state of New York. We're here. And so if it were a movie, you'd say, oh man, America's now being tested on whether it's an autocratic crackdown, anti-rule of law, anti-democracy kind of place. And some people see this. Other people maybe are busy living their lives, are exhausted, and other people in our media environment are still being sold some other version of these events. So it's pretty important in that respect, which is why I wanted to give you this sort of breakdown. The next thing I'm going to do that I don't do when I'm live on TV is actually look at what people are saying and asking. So if you already are a subscriber, great. I can look at your questions. If you're not yet, please feel free to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Subscribe to Ari Melber on YouTube. Jump in here if you want. I'm going to try to go look at a couple of the questions. Do you think Trump will go after Letitia James? I can't do predictions. I don't ever try. I can tell you that the most recent Trump public communication, the kind of thing that got Nixon in trouble in Watergate, when it was exposed later, when the tapes came out under legal pressure, was Trump naming people. He named Comey, James, and Schiff. These are people he sees as antagonists from their prior work, from their public service, from investigations that, of course, involved him. And we just got the Comey one. So I think James is, in Trump's mind, a target. And just as with Kimmel, how people react, whether it's people involved, obviously Disney executives and others had more sway than citizens, but citizens also canceled and spoke up and reacted. That resistance, that response affects things. So whether the Comey indictment drops and it's just one more thing in the public realm and debate, or whether people speak out or it's controversial among lawyers and others, is important. I interviewed the former head of the criminal division, nonpartisan role, who said tonight she's never seen a case brought like this. It's wrong. She hopes lawyers and members of the bar will speak out. And we saw Andrew McCarthy, very conservative, former U.S. attorney, prosecutor in the U.S. Attorney's Office, federal. He spoke out on Fox and said it doesn't look like a case. So that will also affect whether the next round of pressure by Trump meets a DOJ that says, okay, they'll do anything, or says, hey, this is out of control, we're not going to do that. Galveston, Texas says hello. All right, that's easy. Hello back. Hello, Texas. Someone said, Ari's live on the channel. This must be serious. Well, there you go. One of the indications. And a question on a different topic about the summoning of the generals. Is that a loyalty test? I'll just respond to that and then wrap up the live. A lot of interest and intrigue around Pete Hegseth bringing the military together. It is unusual to do that and to pull people out of field positions, but the reporting has evolved over time. There's some indications that they want to have some kind of rah-rah or rally the troops, literally. So we'll have to follow that and see what it is. It's a little bit unusual, but whether it's something untoward, we don't know yet. It's certainly a lot of people there. So it'd be hard to do a big thing in government. Military is part of the government, of course. A big sinister thing and not expect some of it to possibly leak out. So we'll definitely follow that. That's some of the questions. Next time, maybe I'll take more questions. Again, you can subscribe to my YouTube channel, Ari Melber, to get some of these breakdowns. And this is serious time. So wherever you are, stay engaged, stay informed. This is not a time to just say, oh, it's depressing, or what are we going to do? And I say that from a nonpartisan view. Donald Trump is the lawful president of the United States. He should exercise the lawful powers. He won the election last year. But when anyone, any politician in any party tries to seize powers beyond that, take away your free speech rights, abuse government prosecution to see how far they can get away with it, well, then that's a time for everyone to be alert. Until next time.